have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of these fancy dancy shelving units that I'm putting together. Because if you could not see behind me, my garage is a little bit chaotic. And so I've gone with these flimsy shelves in the past, these ones here behind us. And I built my own over there. But in today's world, at the cost of lumber, it just seems better to buy these sturdy, heavy-duty, metal-framed shelving units. Fun fact, these things can also be constructed as workbenches, which I had never thought of, but be a pretty efficient way to make a workbench. But we're using them for heavy-duty steel shelving to get my stuff off the ground. Kind of a devastating story. So we had, when we moved here, not a lot of room in the house, so a lot of our stuff from our bigger house came into the garage here. And because I didn't have shelving built in here, a lot of stuff went on the ground. Because stuff went on the ground and we have a farm, we had mice in here. And unfortunately, even things like our wedding photo albums, a lot of it got ruined by mice. So we're putting together these heavy duty shelving units, and that way we can get everything up off the ground and organize the garage, make it more useful. So I'm gonna steal you guys with me. I'm gonna come down nice and low for a second. And yeah, we're putting a whole whack of these together. They're pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I mostly assembled the first one here by myself, just to make sure I knew what I was doing, so I didn't clown myself online. And yeah, now that we got an idea of what we're doing, I'm just gonna finish assembling these shelves. Don't mind the annoying odd bang here. So we're gonna get all these shelves put together. I'm thinking the best layout, I'll show you guys my garage. So I built this set of shelving unit, but I mean, these 4x4 posts alone are about 30 bucks here. And then, you know, I've got sheet of plywood. This rack here probably costs 3 times as much as one of these metal shelving units. And I've got some of these flimsy plastic ones, but flimsy is the name of the game. These guys, I can build them to interlock together. So I'm thinking my plan here is to put a bunch of these together and maybe make 2 rows. So I might tie off of that one and run this way. And then I'll probably rearrange these. My initial thought was to run these shelving units kind of, you know, I was going to build that one. I was going to build one beside it and keep going. I was going to have rows coming this way, but I'm realizing that's breaking up the garage way too much and just making a terrible space. So I'm thinking we're going to run horizontal with the garage. And yeah. Hallie Burton says, hello. No way I am the first person on this stream. How you doing? Welcome to be the first person. I see the crowd is starting to pick up. We just got started 3 minutes ago. Sachin says, good night. For us up here in Northern Canada, it's the day. But we're trying to organize the garage here. So I figure I can hang out with you guys while I put together these shelving units. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah, I've got these heavy duty metal ones. Way better than these flimsy plastic ones. And I tried my hand at building some custom wooden shelving, but wood is so dang expensive nowadays. And Sachin says, India, it is night. Well, up here in Canada, it's 2:50 p.m., so it is kind of the mid-afternoon. Normally, I'm doing work outside. Yesterday, I was building a couple chicken tractors. Pretty nice big builds, but it's raining today. So I figure do some work in the garage. So yeah, these shelves go up pretty quick, pretty easy. I got 5 of them to do. It took me a second to figure out exactly what I was doing, but now that I got it figured out, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Pretty good design, pretty durable. A little annoying when I gotta tap these in. But that shelving unit is pretty well done. And Chief says, you a vet? No, I run a business actually, but I used to be a civil engineer. I am a homesteader, off-grid. I have a bunch of animals, so I've run a little farm here. And yeah, the garage is just full of my tools and full of my things. But it could certainly be better organized to be more useful, and that's what we're working on right now. Oh boy, try not to drop that through the gap. There we go, just like that. And there are little spots that I can put screws to secure those better. But I think for now we're just gonna wing it. The Goons, hey, is this a talent? Is this a talent? Yes, I am very good at putting together shelving units. But no, this is not a talent. This is just something that's got to get done because my garage is a disaster. This side over here was kind of my wife's organization side. I built some shelving and stuff, but she tidied that end up. This end was left to me. And as you can tell, not very tidy. So we're gonna get stuff off the ground and get this organized. And you should work for IKEA. I have put together quite a few IKEA pieces of furniture over time. Some of that stuff is almost impossible. Every once in a while you get something that comes off the factory line that just wasn't quite pressed right, and you end up having to do it yourself anyway. Let's get the next shelves in, because this unit, you know what we're gonna do? Let's spin this unit out of our way while it's still light before we put all the shelves on it. And then we'll do the next one too. Oh, that was awful. Let's probably face this way. Sorry, guys. While I'm doing this, I'm here chatting with you guys, so feel free to ask away or chat away. And BW Wood Turning says, that looks like my workshop. I feel you. Dude, look at this. It's like, right now, I've got my belt sander over there, unusable, because I've got stuff piled all around it. And I've got my router sitting there. I got some nuts and bolts. Basically, every shelf, every useful space in here is currently not being used. So we'll get some shelving up in here and make this way more useful. And BW says, give this guy a like, it is free. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So for those of you who are just tuning into the channel, I am an off-grid homesteader. Okay, plug your ears for a second. This is gonna be annoying. That wasn't that bad. That wasn't that bad. I'll put the rest of the shelves in now, and we'll get the final layout later, but I think I'm gonna run the shelves across instead of, initially I was planning on doing shelving running this way. I think we're gonna run this way instead. This is my off-grid solar setup over there. My battery box is underneath all my stuff. Look at this. Every flat surface has become a workbench. What do you normally do on this stream? Well, I'm an off-grid homestead. So I've got cows, pigs, ducks, rabbits, chickens, goats, lots of goats. And so normally we're out doing animal chores, doing builds. Yesterday I was building a couple chicken tractors. Today it's a bit of a rain day. We're gonna pop our head out of the garage for 1 second, because I see some light under the door, so I think the rain stopped. But we're gonna, I'll show you what I was working on yesterday. Right over there. So yesterday I was framing in two, there's one partially framed there, 2 chicken tractors. So I gotta get those finished. But as you can see by the puddles behind me, it was a pretty nasty storm here a moment ago. Better view of these guys. There you go. I built, it's behind there, you know, that shed. Behind there's a log cabin. But yeah, so we do a lot of builds, things like that. A lot of work with the animals, training, raising. You'll see that typical daily chores, like milking goats and feeding the pigs. All of that fun stuff. But for now, I'm trying to take advantage of a bit of that wet weather here and just get this garage organized. Let me just grab more shelves and keep slamming them in here. It's a bit of a, with this kind of shelving, it's always a bit of a juggling act getting it started with the frames when you're by yourself. But this one went up not too bad, so we'll get the next ones up quick. And BW Wood Turning. That sounds like the name of a YouTube channel. Do you have your own channel yourself, friend? I always like seeing when other people have YouTube channels. If you do, I give you a bit of a challenge. There we go. If you've got your own channel, first, I want to hear you tell us about it in the chat here so we can learn a little bit about you. And then, when you're done here, although I never encourage people to leave right away, I like chatting with you, but when you are done, I want you to, sorry, I have a tickle in my lungs from a cold I had like 2 months ago. Anyway, what I want you to do is when you leave, comment on another one of my videos, just any video, just comment your name. That way I can easily find you and check out your channel and like and subscribe over there. And Diddy, how you doing, man? I hope court's doing well. I'm glad to see they gave you a access to the internet while you're in jail. And Tommy, I do remember you. Welcome back, Tommy. Hello from Philadelphia. Remember me from the other night? I do, Tommy. Thank you for joining us again. I appreciate you. As always, for new and returning people, I appreciate you guys. You know what's awesome? This shelving unit here, boom. I was cruising a yard sale, and I love cruising yard sales. And let me talk while I walk. What ended up happening is this guy was moving, and it was kind of one of those blowout garage sales. I bought a bunch of tools and stuff from him, and I could see that racking on the wall. He had that shelving unit. The thing weighs more than a truck, but it was a nice heavy metal constructed shelving unit, perfect for a mechanic shop. And I asked the guy, I said, hey, are you trying to get rid of like everything? He's like, oh yeah, I'm trying to empty the garage. Like, would you sell that wall mounted unit? He's like, I don't see why not. It's bolted to the wall, so you'd have to work on that. So I came back with my drills and stuff, unscrewed her from the wall, pulled all the shelves out and threw her in the trailer. And the guy gave it to me for like $100. And if you see, like that's an awesome unit, has every single shelf laid out there. Perfect little unit. Get these shelves in here. Perfect. Just 2 more to go, and then we get to start the next one. BW Woodturning says, I do daily updates from the workshop and stream every Sunday. It's Sunday now, friend. Have you streamed already, or are you planning to stream later? Are you just cruising the live streams to get some ideas? That's kind of the fun thing about creating content myself. I find you interact and you watch, you tend to check out what other people are doing and interact with other people a lot more than I would have otherwise. Instead of spending like the evening on Netflix or something, I'll check out other people's live streams, see what trouble people are getting into, see what kind of projects people are doing, get ideas, interact, and get to know other content creators. It's a lot of fun that way. I used to do a ton of woodworking, never wood turning, but I used to do a lot of woodworking. Before I had the homestead. So when I had a little more free time on my hands. Now, I mean, I do a lot more bigger carpentry jobs, but I used to make a lot of stuff. I'll tell you about my Etsy business in a second when I used to do that. I don't anymore, but I had a very lucrative plan going on for a while. Oh. So this would have been about 2018. Around 2018, I was running an Etsy shop for about 5 months. And what I was doing, what I found the most lucrative thing was wooden coasters. So like dinner coasters, wooden coasters for your drink. And what I would do is I had a bunch of property, bunch of acreage, had 11 acres full of birch and pine trees. So I'd find the birch and pine trees that were, yay big, 4.5 inch diameter. And one tree like that would get me about, I don't know, I think it was around 250 discs. So I took my chop saw, put a stop block, cut all the discs. And then what I would do is to dehydrate them, I would actually use a microwave. If I were doing it nowadays, I'd probably use like a vented toaster oven, like countertop oven. But at the time I was using a microwave, you could quickly, I dialed in the right power level. You'd run it for, 30 seconds, let the steam out, let it cool down, run it for another 30 seconds. I had the timing all worked out depending on the moisture content. So a little moisture meter, zap the wood, figure out what percent moisture it was at, and go from there to dehydrate the discs. And then I was selling the discs in 3 different bundles. So I would sell raw, but dry raw discs, 100 packs. And I think it was about $40. And then we're gonna have to just wait and see. Are we back, or did I lose you guys? Okay, guys, we're going to give this a second to reconnect now that we're back. I can't tell. Do we got anyone still here? Kyle, can you hear me now? Am I back, guys? I'll wait till you guys acknowledge that we're back, and then I'll keep telling the story. Bear with me, guys. Wood Turning says he's back, and John says something's wrong with the stream. John, can you hear me now? I can explain to you what just happened there in a second. If sounds like BW Wood Turning says I'm back. What just happened is I watched my We're streaming from cellular right now because we're in the garage. We're not on our Starlink. And my cellular tower just dropped out and then came back. I live off grid. We're in the middle of nowhere here. I got decent service because the cell tower is across the lake, but every once in a while the cellular tower just craps out and we lose all cell service. It's one of the main reasons that I've got Starlink out here, is because when the cell tower goes down, I got no way to contact anyone. If there was ever any problems with the kids, had to call for help. At least with Starlink, I have backup with the internet. I'm gonna retell this story, sorry guys. So what I was saying is I used to run an Etsy shop. I only ran it for about 6 months because then I had my first kid and life gets busy. But in that 6 months, we made about 6-7 grand working evenings and weekends. So the main thing we were doing was selling wooden discs, wooden coasters. So I had 11 acres. In that I had a bunch of pine trees and birch trees. So I grabbed my chop saw and I would put the 4-inch roughly, I'd find a tree that was roughly, 5-6 inches, because then the midsection was usually around that 5 to 4 inches. And then I would set up my chop block, usually about 1/4 of an inch, give myself 1/4 inch from the saw to where the disc was gonna cut. I could cut about 250 good sized discs off of one tree. And then, the rest of it was firewood, so the whole tree wasn't going to waste. And then those 250 discs, I could make around $100 on just those. So I would do just raw dehydrated discs, or I would do sanded discs, and I was drying them beforehand. And then third option, I would sell in just like bundles of like five finished coasters. So I would use linseed oil mixed with polyurethane just to give a more of a glowing yellow to the wood. And I would do about 4 or 5 coats of that until the wood stopped absorbing it and it would leave a top coat. And yeah, that's kind of what I would do. I would sell those for like $20 for a 5-pack. So you were making a lot more money per disc on the finished product, but I found it was very easy to sell bundles of 100. I was catering towards weddings. And so I was selling the bundles of 100, either sanded or just raw discs. Very often. So I was made a few $1,000s, about $8,000 in 6 months. And it was an exponential growth. So that was the main thing I was doing in my wood shop. I tried other projects, different sorts of placeholders, candle, what do you call them? Lazy Susan, stuff like that. But the main seller was wood discs. Eddie Spaghetti, how you doing, friend? So yeah, does that kind of answer what I was doing there? And it's probably the weather. The signal can interfere due to the weather changes. And John says, can I just start off by saying that green sweater is looking nice on you? Brings out your eyes. Well, thank you. Especially if I flex. It's a nice sweater. I've had this sweater for a long time. It's lovely. Although I'm fully buttoned up because I'm not wearing a shirt underneath it. It was cold today. And is the tower across a body of water? Yes, it is. It's on the other side of the lake. And BW says, I've been working on mobile towers for 12 plus years. So you know a thing or two about a thing or two. So you figure it's probably the weather, the lightning and stuff, the thunder from earlier, maybe the changes in pressure causing the cell service to drop off. It came back relatively quick that time. I thought we were going to be dead in the water. We only lost, a couple minutes. It went down to nothing and then came back. We actually were able to keep the same stream going. I didn't have to restart the stream because it came back to life. Hurt our momentum. We were getting a bit of a crowd there, but that's okay. Let's get this last shelf in here. Okay, that's one full unit done. Now we get to cut open the box and get another one started. Whew. But now I've had to stop that due to body pain. Sorry, my English is not the best. No, your friend, your English is perfect. We haven't had any issues. I understand everything you're saying. Yeah, it's sad when the body starts to fail us. I had an old hockey injury back some 15 years ago when I was in my 20s, and that back injury still haunts me more now than it ever did when I freshly heard it. I crushed the disc between my L4, L5, so super stiff all the time. It is what it is. So I try to leverage my machines and stuff as much as I can. Try to do as little physical labor as I can, but you still can't get away from it all. It is what it is. Sometimes it's just too fast to sacrifice your body and do something by hand than try to get machines involved. But thankfully these shelving units aren't too bad. So, first step is going to be just to pull everything out of here. We're going to get this second one going really quick. And the signal can bounce off the water, but the signal changes when the weather changes. And when the camera doesn't want to stay put, was I almost dropping you guys? Yeah. Oh yeah, when you're trying to put it down multiple, yeah. These shelving units are pretty straightforward. I like to get all the pieces out of the box. Get all these pieces out of the box first so I can organize them, and then the shelf comes up really fast. That one there maybe took 10 minutes. Maybe a little longer because I was chatting. But pretty straightforward. It's going to be very nice once this is said and done. I've got the garage organized and back. And now that I have a shelf, now that I have a shelf, I have somewhere to put the parts. Look at that. It's going to get easier and easier as we go. And BW says, a strong signal could get lost due to the waves or solar glare. Do you mean flare? Or glare? Like actually, you mean glare. The sun bouncing off the water. But yeah, when I was running the Etsy shop, it's kind of the same business model I'm doing with YouTube. So far, YouTube has made me all of like $50, basically nothing. But that's because we're still growing. We're not even fully monetized yet, so that's just through third-party donations. But what I want to do, when I ran the Etsy shop, what I did is, as I made money off of my online sales, I would then use that money to buy new tools. And then I could continue to develop my shop and change what I was making and growing and just make things more efficient as time went on. And so I plan to do the same thing here with YouTube. So I'll come up with a plan once I get the channel fully monetized. There's a couple ideas, but basically as I manage to make some ad revenue and stuff, one of the things I was thinking of was like a drone, because then I could make a drone to do some aerial shots of the fields, of the trails, of the property. I want to, you know, if I want to get, say, more incubators to hatch more eggs, kind of return any funds I make off of YouTube and turn into that. Sticky Heels, how you doing? Welcome back. I hope you're having a better day today. So we're just gonna sort through these parts, get all the shelving pieces together, and then that way, I took away most of the mods and then left just a couple people I know in person. Whatever was going on with our live stream, for those who are just joining in right now, we had a little bit of drama the other day where someone was going around making fake accounts of people. And so people were making fake accounts of people who were already subscribers and people we interact with. And they were posting some obscene things on the live stream. And so then I ended up having to remove or ban the real people, not realizing that it was a bunch of fake people like Old Glory. And so I managed to sort it out with people after the fact and realize that what was going on. But yeah, I was very surprised that that was going on. So I just had to take a step back on the channel there for a second with moderation so I could be a little more hands-on and personal myself. Just so I could see what's going on. Don't need any shenanigans going on. Did you find out who it was? Honestly, I'm not sure. I wasn't sure if it was maybe Geese because they were in there earlier, or I don't know. It was weird. It was weird, but this way, it's just for now. It's just me in control of who's saying and doing what. That way, I can keep a closer eye on the chat log. So yeah, anyway, Hope everyone's having a good day. We're gonna get these shelves, this next unit started here soon so we can get this garage tidied up. It's all the pieces out of the box. The package of the parts I need. Perfect. Perfect. So yeah, we're gonna start. This is the hardest part. The hardest part of building these shelving units is just getting these first ones started because you don't have anything holding anything up. So you gotta juggle 100 parts by hand. So we'll start with one of these and one of these and one of these. So we'll start with the 3 of these to get this started. And BW Woodturning says, so that's the reason I removed donation on my streams. He was saying, BW says, FX, 100 donation, YouTube takes 30%, and the vendor, Google or Apple, takes 30% again. So you only get $49. Yeah, it can get aggressive with the takeaway. My only thoughts though with that, BW, I hear what you're saying. I assume you move donations over to like Ko-Fi or Patreon or something like that. My only response there is, I know that YouTube, Apple, and Google are businesses, but let's focus on YouTube. YouTube is a business and they want to make money, and so they want to make their cut. So my only thoughts are, if you play nice and you let them take their cut instead of trying to shop it around, then you're going to show to YouTube that you're generating money for them. And I have a feeling that they're going to then push more people towards your channel to try to get more people donating to get more money in their own pockets. So, sorry guys. So as much as it's very tempting to want to try to cut them out and bypass them, I do think that there's a chance that you'll grow faster by working with them. I do have a Ko-Fi link, that being said, but I don't advertise it. I've had a couple people find it, so we've gotten a couple donations, but I don't advertise it. Right now, my main goal, because we're not monetized yet, my main goal is just to build relationships and chat with you guys. DJ, how you doing? Welcome back, friend. Thank you for the flower. And so my main goal right now is just to chat with you guys. Viewer YouTuber says, you look like Ryan Reynolds. Do I? When I grow my hair out, I grow my hair out down my shoulder sometimes. A lot of people say I look like Keanu Reeves, which it's not that far off. I had one event I went to. It was a suit and tie event, and I was wearing a black shirt and a black blazer, and I had my hair slicked back nice and long with my scruffy beard, and I had to admit, I looked like Keanu Reeves. Which I'm not saying he's the most attractive actor, but it was true. And BW says, I am fine with YouTube taking a cut, but other is something I'm not happy with. Yeah, I know the whole Apple and Google thing is kind of silly. And my views are the same as normal. Today I peaked at 450 viewers. That's awesome, man. So what time is it where you are right now? Because you were saying you stream on Sundays, so you've already streamed earlier today. Yeah, I think the most peak concurrent I've had, it's 10:19 p.m. Okay, so we're 3:19 p.m. Where I am. So does that put you out 4-hour time difference? Where's that put you? Are you out in Europe? And yeah, I have no idea, Sticky. I have no idea. And Mara Molly says it's 22:19. We got some military time going there. 10:19 p.m. We are at 3:19 p.m. here. We're in northern Canada. And Marmali says Sweden. Nice. Nice. I love, oh boy, I gotta pay attention. I love how diverse YouTube is. I love how you can get people from all over the world. I love talking to people from everywhere. It is fantastic. You can make a lot of cool connections and a lot of cool friends that way. Yes, but BW, when you when you are ready to go to sleep and you are done here, I give you just the quick challenge to find any one of my videos and comment, and that way I can come check out your channel and subscribe. How many subscribers are you at? If you're getting 415 or so concurrents, you must have a pretty good sized channel. And what is the main thing you enjoy doing? So are you making mostly bowls, vases? What kind of stuff do you do? I've always been fascinated by wood turning. I just haven't gotten into it myself yet. 4.7 thousand at the moment. That is awesome, man. We are at 1,300 here. So really, we started our push. We've done really well just the last 2 months. I think we've gained like 900 over the last 2 months. Before that, it was pretty slow, but I'm happy with anything. And so it's anything wood turning. Do you do a lot of commissions? Are you making a lot of like commission sales, or is it a lot of stuff for fun? What do you do with the things that you're making? Also, how annoying is that hammering? Does the iPhone block out a bunch of that excess noise, or is it just awful? And Sticky says 13:22 here. So it's still nice and early in the day for you. do. 13:22 would be 1:21, not 3:21. You're out by a couple hours there, Sticky. Okay, so we got the bottom section. Now we got to do the top section. And Bentley says, what are you doing? Building some shelving units, because if you look behind me, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I had built this one out of wood, this big sturdy unit. I was gonna add one more shelf up top, but I built this big wooden unit. But these 4x4 posts, they run me like 35 bucks here, 35 bucks. Yes, I didn't need to use pressure treated. That's all they had at the time. I live in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, it gets aggressive. Freshly Wild, welcome back to the chat, friend. And BW wood turning. I was asking BW guys has a wood turning channel and has 4.7 thousand subscribers and streams on Sundays. So I encourage you guys, go check out BW wood turning. He is doing mostly commission work, but on streams I make stuff for fun. Mostly things I have no idea how to do. That's awesome. I'm trying to figure out something new. Keeps it fun and exciting. Jericho, welcome back, friend. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're having a good day. Also, I love your use of emojis. It makes it very easy to tell when you're someone commenting on one of my videos. I know it's always you. Thanks, Jericho. And Bentley says, white people can put stuff together. Sometimes. I made sure to put this one mostly together before I started the stream, just to make sure I wasn't going to make a complete fool of myself. And Freshly says, hello, Justin, and good afternoon, fellow wilderness enthusiasts. And Bentley, black people will have stuff falling, and I'm black. I think it's raining right now, but I'll show you what I was working on yesterday. This thing is never going to fall down. It's also 1,000,000 pounds and going to be a pain in the butt to move around, but it's not raining yet. Bear with me. I'll show you what I was working on yesterday quick. So, I was building this guy. This is going to be one of two. You can see I'm starting a second one down here. Mobile chicken tractors. So, mobile chicken tractors built out of 2x4s. I did bird's mouth joints on the roof. She's looking pretty, but she's heavy. She's very heavy. I'm going to use tin roofing. I shut the light off. What was I doing? That was habit. But yeah, it's raining today, on and off lots of storms, some thunder and lightning. So I figure we'll do some work in the garage instead of hanging out there. And Freshly Wild's encouraging people to click like, and so is Everyday Sunday. Thank you guys. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. I appreciate hanging out with you guys. Viewer says, leave this work and try in Hollywood. I'm so happy doing what I'm doing up here in Northern Canada. I've got a 156 acre homestead. I live off grid, hence my my solar setup over here. My batteries are all stored in this box. Part of the reason I'm building shelving is because I can't even get in there if I want to. Definitely a bit of a fire hazard. And yes. And Bentley says, I put my son's bike together. I had extra screws and a wheel fell off. Hopefully he didn't get hurt. Okay. So now we got the bottom section done. I'm going to put the top section together while I chat with you guys, and then we'll put the two sections together. I might as well put in the connector brackets. Yeah, this shelving unit, this is just a Canadian Tire special. Heavy duty steel shelving unit. I think I got them on sale for $150 a piece. And that's honestly not bad because the wooden one back there, I probably spent more than that between the plywood, 2x4s, mounting screws, and 4x4 posts. But the cool thing, I didn't even realize this until I was putting it together and the instructions got confusing. So this unit here can be double stacked. Are we good now? Are we good? It's kind of tricky dealing with the weather sometimes, but it is what it is. And John says, yeah, I watched your short about it. And Freshly retracted his message. I think we're back up and running. Oh, I wish right now, to be honest, I wish I was wearing a shirt underneath this because I'm starting to sweat. It's getting hot in here. The sun must have come out a bit. But yeah, those chicken tractors are going to be awesome once I get them fully up and running. It's just we're dealing with some thunderstorms right now, so that's why we're working in the garage and not finishing those. I need to finish those, but there's only so many hours in a day, and I don't want to be caught out there trying to use my power tools in the rain. Okay, we got the connector brackets there, so now I need to set up the top piece. So, yeah. Anyway, for those just joining, we're just working on some shelving units and chatting with you guys. So if you guys got anything you want to talk about, anything you want to share, feel free, because I am here paying attention to you guys. Helps if I put this the right way. Okay, bear with me. It's going to be loud for a second. Okay, so that's one half of the top part. Let's make sure that I'm all the way scrolled up. We'll get the next one. And then this was the hardest part. Also, behind me, if you're wondering what this little noodler boodler is, that's a chicken plucker. So when I do my own chickens and ducks, that bad boy is what helps speed up the process of getting their feathers off of them. So that thing there can hold like four or five chickens or 2-3 ducks. And it's just after you unalive them, when you're ready to process them, it's got a bunch of these fingers. This actually flips upside down. There's a bunch on the inside too. And it just rotates the chickens and ducks around, tumbles them, rumbles them, and gets all the feathers to fall off. It makes the job so much faster. What I did was I was hesitant on whether or not I should buy one. And so I went to process one of my ducks a little early just to see before committing to the whole thing. And bear with me one second. So anyway, I'm gonna need this bracket here. So I put I did one by hand, and plucking one duck by hand took me about 40 minutes, and immediately I went online and started shopping for that guy because I had 20 ducks to process, and there was no way I was going to do, and that was just the plucking. I still had to butcher the thing, and there's no way I was going to spend 20 hours worth of time butchering ducks. And so, yeah, we bought the good old plucker there. Now, when I built the last shelf here, it doesn't say to put this bracket in right now, but I didn't. I put this up, put the other one out, and they both came crashing down on my head. So in order to avoid getting curb stomped, we're gonna put this on. Also, 1 second, guys. Fun conversation to have, guys. Is anyone else watching all these Yeti and Sasquatch Bigfoot compilations? They're so inappropriate, but they kill me. They're so funny. Okay, that should hold. That should hold that one. Now we're gonna do the other side. Eric Griffin, how you doing, friend? Okay, we got to get the other one going without dropping it on my head. And this Christian says, this dude's on that crystal, SMH, sad. I'm on that crystal. If you're thinking about the methamphetamines, absolutely not. We're just out here grinding away, doing some work in the garage today. And Rose says, oh man, trolls in the chat, of course. How are you doing? Sorry about the ignorance of some people. Rose, I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm doing well. I don't get bothered by the nonsense trolls. In fact, what I try to tell some of my moderators is I don't want people blocking them. I don't want people trying to stop them. The only thing is, 1 second. Hey, Big Erm, how you doing, friend? Trying to get this lined up. Bear with me 1 second. Come on, don't break. There we go. Okay, and I got to put the sidebar in before this falls. So anyway, I don't mind when people just lightheartedly make a troll as long as it's appropriate. I don't stand for any racism or over-sexualized comments. That's a big no for me. But otherwise, if someone wants to have some fun, I don't mind having some fun back with them. As long as we keep it wholesome, keep it fun. Someone saying, you know, a comment about drugs or something, whatever. But yeah, we had some drama the other day. Big Erm was there for it, where someone had cloned one of my subscribers' channels and made a bunch of inappropriate comments on the channel. And I accidentally had banned the real person, not realizing there was a fake. And so cleared things up with them. But some people have way too much time on their hands. Ah! That was scary. I almost dropped it on my head. That wasn't quite in over here. There we go. There. Now I got to do the other one. So yeah. Anyway, gonna just keep dancing with you guys, and I'm trying to keep up with the comments as well. Eric says, I'm surprised it's something you're not at nighttime. It's 3:35 p.m. my time right now, so it's still middle of the day. Normally I'm working outside, but two things. One, I gotta get my garage cleaned up. It's a disaster. And two, it's thunderstorming right now, on and off. Miguel Godoy says hi. Hey, Miguel, how you doing, friend? And Sarge says you have a great channel. Thank you, Sarge. I appreciate that. And Eric says you must have didn't have to work today, Sunday. Yes, I work for like an hour in the morning, and then I'm good all day on a Sunday. And Rose says subbing way too much time. Yes, thank you, Rose. I appreciate you. And Rose says, considering it looks like you have a wedding band, should def let people know not to make inappropriate comments. Yes, and that's why, you know, there's certain inappropriate content I just don't allow because, you know, I have a wife, I have kids, and I do not allow my kids anywhere near the YouTube channel because A, I can't control what's said on here, and B, the internet, especially with AI nowadays, is a weird spot, and I want to protect my kids' privacy. I've also seen way too many times where YouTubers try to exploit their children. And even they might not even realize they're exploiting their children, just having them on screen, having them in the forefront, having them picking up the baby rabbits and coming and hanging on and chat, because it's adorable. It is adorable. It's cute. But I'd rather them live in the moment and not on the screen. And I don't want to exploit my children. There's a lot of red lines for me when it comes to that stuff. I'm sorry if that's annoying, because it's annoying to me. My rubber mallet's somewhere else. It's not behind me, is it? No. It's in the house, I think. But yeah. Anyway. I'm just catching up with you guys. Eric says, and Lily's doing pretty good though too. Lily's doing fantastic. She is probably in her doghouse right now, hanging out outside. And Hallie says, that is such a bizarre thing to do. And Curtis says, Hebrews chapter 13, verse 8. Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever. Happy Sunday, Curtis. Big Erm says, nah, you're making a good choice. Too many weirdos on here. And Rose is saying, literal help or literal hell? Literal help. Hallie says, exactly. So insane how many people use their kids for content. Ernie, welcome back, Ernie. How you doing, friend? You should befriend a Sasquatch. They are great at keeping workshops clean. Bro, these Sasquatch videos that are going around the internet have me dying. A lot of them are inappropriate, but hilarious. I guess it's not that hard to make them. Nowadays with AI, it's just a simple web prompt on a certain website and you can make them. But they're just choice media for me. Obviously, the kids can be nowhere nearby when I'm perusing any of those videos because they're super inappropriate. But yeah, they're hilarious. They are hilarious. I'm like a well-oiled machine when it comes to this. Just dancing around with you guys. This is one of those projects that'll make the wife very happy. Oh boy. Come on. There we go. I just said I was a well-oiled machine and now I'm struggling to get this one in. That is what I get for my vanity. Okay, come on. Get one side in, get it started. And get the other side in. There we go. Okay, I think we're good there. Cool. Now I just got to put the mid shelves in. So I was going up by 11. That seemed to be about even on here. And Hallie says, you inspired me to get myself off the couch and I painted some kills inside our pantry. What's a kills? This is a new word to me. What is a kills? Now I'm back on the couch decompressing from the fumes. I hope the couch is in a different room because otherwise you're still getting them fumes. And Eric says they look like bed frames. Yes, except the finished product is really nice. This is a really nice sturdy frame. And they're built in such a way that this one is going to connect to this one. The cool thing is this it comes in two halves. So I could have left the bottom half, put the top half beside it, and it makes a workbench. And Hallie says, oh, Kills is oil-based primer for wall paint. Okay. So you are So you're painting the inside of your pantry. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay, let's get the mid shelves put up. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, so I was going up 11 from here. And do you have a rain barrel? So I don't right now because on the barn, so my dog's water dish is actually at the end of the eave. So I do have just a 20 liter kind of animal feed style. So it's wider mouthed bucket at the end of the eaves trough on the house. But for the pigs in that, I haven't put the eaves on the barn yet. So it's a project I still have to do. I need to finish metal roofing the roof. Right now, it's only 3/4 done. And then I got to put the eaves trough up and then I'll put a rain barrel there. But it became less of a priority because I installed an automatic waterer for the animals. So it's tied to my well. But having a rain barrel would be efficient because being off grid, every time they drink out of that, out of the automatic water, the well has to kick on and refill it. And so it would definitely be more efficient if I did rain barrels. So it's something I gotta work towards. And then for watering the garden, I'm actually using a generator, a portable generator, and a lake draw pump to suck water up from the lake and do that. So I got to fire up a portable generator to do that. And Eric says, oh yeah, they make good things that they did pretty good for anything you need them to be. Yeah, this shelf, I like it. I like that I mean, anyone with common sense would have figured that you could turn this into a big long workbench. I guess I don't have common sense because that did not cross my mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 puts me at about halfway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 puts me at about halfway. Okay, now we got to do the same on the other side. And Dalton Gould says, you look like you play guitar. I don't, but I used to play the drums. I used to be a drummer in a number of bands. I used to cruise the bar circuit. Yeah. I still have my drum kit, but I had switched, a number of years ago, I switched from an acoustic drum set to a electric drum kit. And as much as the cymbals and chimes and stuff don't sound as good, the portability was huge for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. At the time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. At the time when I was cruising the bars and stuff, playing, I didn't have a truck. And so when I had my acoustic kit, whenever I'd have to bring my own drum kit, I'd have to borrow a truck. And you can't always borrow a truck. So that was a huge pain. And so I got a Yamaha DTX 522K, I think it was, but a Yamaha DTX drum kit, and I could fit it in a matter of a few suitcases. And I still, to this day, have that drum kit. I'm no longer playing any bars, and I had it set up at my last house, was teaching my kids how to play and stuff, but at this current house, I have it out in storage, because I went from a 2,200 plus square foot home down to what was an 800, and I put on an addition for another 400. So now a 1,200 square foot place, and I live off grid. So running an electric drum kit in tight space just doesn't seem to make sense to me. So instead, I've got a couple box drums and hand drums, so we can still play around. How much did you get the E-kit for? This was back in the day, so it was like $2,000. They were still pretty fresh. So it was they've come down a lot in price, but it was around $2,000. And Ernie says, any complaints on the bird plucker? So far, no. No, I have mentioned it on the stream, but nobody's complained about it yet. I know you love your birds and respect your birds. Ernie, do you just eat the eggs, or do you butcher any of the birds for meat? And Eric says those racks are pretty cool. And Sticky says, oh, it's working again. Yeah, sorry. There's some thunderstorms going on right now. And so we've had a couple times where the stream has just kind of dropped out. It is what it is. And Jaden says, what do I see? A mouse over there? I saw oh, is it a snake? Are you a snake or a mouse or nothing? What are you? Oh, it's just the wind blowing. Maybe it's a snake's skin, but the wind is blowing under the door. We've got a lot of snakes right now. It's wild. And Dayton says, I think I'm going to save up and get my own kit. The nice thing about the electric drum kits, the nice thing about them is you can plug them in and wear headphones. So you're still going to get the odd, tapping sound from the drumstick on the pads, but they feel really good. They sound really good. One thing I liked when I was playing in the bar scene was I could plug into the same PA system, the same sound system as everyone else. And so it was super easy to sound check. And that was another problem with my acoustic drum kit. I'd bring my acoustic drum kit, and depending on the venue, you would have to bring a plexiglass shield. If it was just reverberating too much noise, you'd have to put that in front of you to kind of down it. You'd have to bring some pillows to put inside the drum heads if it was too loud. I'd have to bring like 6 different sets of drumsticks that were different weights and density, different loudness. And it was just the sound check and trying to figure out how hard or how loud I had to play, or how quiet, how soft I had to play. The sound check took a long while. Whereas when I switched to the electric kit, it was just a matter of plugging into their sound system and adjusting some volumes up or down, and I was dialed in like 10 minutes. Declan says, if you don't mind me asking, how much did you make while doing shows and venues? This was through my mid-20s, not a lot. It was like, I'd go play a bar from like 8 p.m. till midnight, and I'd make like $60. It was not much at all. Like you were playing for your portion of tips, basically. It wasn't a lot, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But if you factor in, like, I'd have to take my drum kit down, particularly when I was on the acoustic, better when I was on the electric, but you'd have to take your drum kit down, you'd have to bring it over, about an hour setup and sound check, and then you'd have to play for 3-4 hours and make $60, and then take it all down and bring it home. It was aggressive. Sometimes you'd make more, sometimes you'd make less, but yeah, it is what it is. And Sticky says, is it here too? No, the drum kit is in storage. I have it at a different warehouse right now. And Ernie's Cabin says, like you, I hate plucking the birds. I was thinking of getting a plucker. It saves so much time. It's a machine that if you're doing birds as like a primary meat source, it's worth it. I now have 29 chickens, 17 ducks. I'm hatching 41 more ducks. That thing is going to be a lifesaver come the fall. The fact that I can do in this plucker right here, I can do like 6-7 chickens at once and then about 3 ducks at once. That's a lot of time saving. It's a lot of time saving. And how long did you play for? Yes, that. And can we see the snake? The snake's not here right now, but I did take a video of one earlier. We have a lot of snakes. So at some point I'll post on my YouTube channel a short of one of the snakes, but I have one from last year. It was like 5 feet long, like from here down to the ground. I was holding it. It was a massive snake. I've got that on a YouTube short. No Ego, welcome back to the chat. Thank you for sending love. Dayton says, have you ever thought about getting back into the swing or doing shows? So fun fact, the most kind of prestigious event I did is I drummed a set for the lead, what would you call them? The recording keyboard player for Rush. So you know the band Rush, YYZ, you know, Rush. I played with the recording artist. So not the guy who would play on stage with them, but the guy who did all the studio work. So I played a full set with them, and it was fantastic. It was a Rush cover, like, you know, doing Rush cover songs, but he was the guy, and it was fantastic. I mean, he was probably 75 years old, but really, really good. And so it was a lot of fun. On the fly, like if I was doing a drum solo, he would come in the background with a keyboard solo and just keeping up with everything I was doing real time, just reacting perfectly. It was so much fun. Do I think about doing shows? So when my kids are older, right now my kids are all learning piano. I have guitars and ukuleles for them as well. But when my kids get older, then we'll all play together. For now, though, we just kind of jam at home. I've got a couple box drums, a djembe, which is an African hand drum, and we'll play with those. But yeah, when we're older, I'd want to get my kids out to like the folk festivals. Maybe we can all do it. My wife grew up doing folk festivals with her father, and so I think it'd be a lot of fun if we did that as a family when the kids get old enough. And Eric says, do you see a lot of Canadian geese? Yes, and especially in the fall. We're actually allowed to hunt them up here, and there are thousands of them in the fall. They migrate through my area, and so there are plenty. They also hang out in all the farm fields. What I got to do this year is I got to cut some of the farm field behind me. They like the shorter grass because they can land and make sure there's no predators. So I need to mow an area just to make it easier to hunt them. They're not that easy to shoot out of the sky. And Sticky says, is it that fat garter snake? The ones I'm seeing here aren't that really, really big one, but there are lots of them. And Eric says, play migraine a lot down southern Jersey has a lot of. Eric, I feel like I missed part of that. Play migraine a lot down south Jersey has a lot of. Big Erm says, don't be specific or anything, but what's the closest major city to you? Are you farther north than Timmins? I'm way farther north. I'm an hour away from what you could even call the closest town. I'm like a good 6 hours away from the closest city. We're very far north up here, literally the middle of nowhere. And Eric is saying there's lots of Canadian geese in New Jersey. Lemon, how you doing, Lemon? Welcome back to the chat. I hope you're doing well. Big Earn says, oh, wow, way out there. Yes, it does make certain things a struggle. Groceries are hella expensive. I got to keep working while we chat. Otherwise, this will never get done. But yeah, it is what it is. Being way up here in the middle of nowhere has a lot of pros. I've lived in some cities. I did go to university. So I do have my civil engineering degree. I used to be a civil engineer back in the day. I should specify a junior engineer. But yeah, traded all that away for some middle of nowhere living. That's why, like, you know, as much as my tool bench is a mess back here and stuff, you have to make sure you've got a whole whack of everything, just to make sure. You gotta have a whole lot of everything just to make sure you can get by, because you're not gonna travel an hour to go get some nuts and bolts. Let me move this 1 second. Got to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've been pretty good about not putting these in backwards. Oh boy, we're going to recount that. 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Going in right here. And then on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we're good. Good. I almost took this piece of metal right here to the head. Okay, now we gotta do the same to the other side, and then this one's basically done. And Eric is saying in the Canadian geese can go as far as Jersey all the way to North Carolina because they like to migrate. Yes, yeah, and I guess they're traveling to you guys through the fall and winter because they live up here. They live up here throughout the year, but then they move down there come the fall, and that's when we see thousands of them because they migrate right through here as they're heading south. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Look at that, guys. I know how to count to 11. But we put it in the wrong side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I went up one. 11. Okay. I'm getting all hot and bothered here. I put my hammer down somewhere and I don't know where. I found it. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with you guys. Bear with me 1 second here. Let me just tap this guy in. There. Okay. And it's against the law to not kill them. Do you mean to kill them? We're talking about Canadian geese. Up here, you're allowed with a license. With a hunting license, you are allowed to hunt them. And Pharaoh says, hey, I remember you, Starling Canadian guy. Welcome back to the chat, Pharaoh. I feel like it's been a while. Yes, I feel like I was talking to you closer to the winter when I was still cutting firewood. And Ditton says, if you were to play with a band, who would it be? Do you mean like, oh boy, there's nails in that, and that went in my foot. If I were to play with a band, as in any band in the world, if I could play with any band in the world, is that what we're asking? Yes. If I could play with any band in the world, who would it be? I mean, I'm not that good anymore, but let's just say I was good. I really love grooving to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. The Red Hot Chili Peppers have some wild beats. It's a lot of fun, super technical music. The Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's going to be my final answer. And is the United States in decline? I don't think so. I'm up here in northern Canada, though. Canada is getting more Indians. Are you meaning East Indians? That does happen. That does happen. Okay, we're ready to put this one in place, and then I'm not gonna bolt these. These shelving units can be bolted together. I'm not gonna do that yet because I'm sure it's the moment I bolt them all together, my wife is gonna tell me they gotta go somewhere else. Bear with me. This is gonna get annoying for a second. Oh, that wasn't that bad. Okay, we're just gonna put that like that so that the two units are side by side. But the final home for them will be somewhere else. So let's grab some boards and put them on top. The Canadian geese down here stay all year round. I guess that makes sense. They got no reason to migrate, I guess, if it's already warm and it doesn't get too hot. Yeah, where I am, it gets too cold in the winter. So come the fall, they head south. And what'll you put on it? I gotta grab my knife, which is already in my pocket, thankfully. I've got just, well, I was about to give you a really dumb answer. I was about to say, oh, I gotta put the shelves on it. Of course, that's not what you mean. I have a whole bunch of everything. I got a bunch of tools sitting around here. I got, you know, hockey bag. I got stuff everywhere. I have like, you know, my workbench where I've got my belt sander and my router and stuff. I can't even use that workbench because I've got so much stuff just everywhere. So the goal is just to get everything off the ground. We can organize and find out what is best to go where, but for now, it's just get everything off the ground. Okay. And Shivam is saying, sir, don't you feel shame on looking handsome? Aw, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And Eric says the Canadian geese like the warm weather. Dayton says, for me, it would probably have to be Disturbed or Metallica or Black Sabbath or Five Finger Death Punch or Avenged Sevenfold. I used to jam to Avenged Sevenfold pretty hard when I was growing up. I'm now, there we go, there's one in. Nowadays, I'm a practicing Christian Catholic, and so some of the stuff from like Avenged Sevenfold doesn't hit the same way as it did back then. You know, some of the lyrics are a little bit out there, but it's pretty dang technical, pretty good music. And Eugene says, hi Eugene, how you doing? Dustin is saying, rat ran across the beams up there. Probably not a rat, but if anything did, it was either a squirrel or a mouse, and that is not something that I wouldn't believe. That could definitely happen. We're off grid here. I have a homestead farm here. Oh, I got 156 acres. We've got goats, rabbits, chickens, ducks, pigs, and cows. And because I have all these animals, we definitely do get some mice. But I've had a lot of snakes. A lot of snakes have been eating the mice. And so they've been keeping the mice population down a bit. And Pharaoh says, I'll join the Patreon stuff. See you there. Thanks, friend. I've got a free chat room there, and we can chat about anything from ideas you guys want to see, content creation, if you want to just share pictures, if you guys want to just ask anything specific, but not in a stream. Yeah, I set the Patreon, not really to make money, but more just so I can interact with you guys. You know, I love these one-on-one chats we get to do. Being able to interact with you guys and have real conversations with real people is a lot of fun. But I'm not always live streaming. So I thought I could start the Patreon, set up a free chat room where anyone who wants to join, we can kind of talk the nitty-gritty. I can give a little more details to specific things. If people want to know, like, let's say, how does the duck incubator work? Instead of having to make a whole video or something, we can just chat about it. If you guys want to know how my off-grid solar setup works, It's a place where we can go and just hang out and chat. I thought of, I feel like I'm a dinosaur. I'm not a big thing about Discord. I don't use Discord, don't really know much about it. And so instead of doing Discord, I thought I would just do a Patreon. And I know there's options to do Discord off of Patreon. They can all be connected. But for now, just doing our thing. What did you have for breakfast? I had 2 farm fresh chicken eggs. Actually, I had chicken eggs and I made my kids French toast with homemade bread. That was breakfast. Not so organized, but the shelf will definitely help. Yeah, it's a disaster right now. That's why we're building, I'm building a lot of these. I think I got 5 of them. I've done 2. There we go. And so, yeah, we're trying to get all this all off the ground so that the garage is much more organized. And Datelin says, I gotta go. Well, thank you for the chat. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. And I hope you have yourself a good night. Take care. Thanks for the good chat. Okay. Let's grab the last shelf for this one, and then we can start making the next one. I'm starting to sweat. It's hot in this garage. And Dayton says, thank you for answering all my questions. Thank you for asking good questions. I appreciate it. That's one of the things I really try to focus on these live streams, is interacting with you guys. You guys have questions, I have answers. It's fun to actually get to talk back and forth. A lot of streamers are either too busy, too big, or just ignoring the chat. And, you know, you're not getting real connections and real answers that way. So I tried to pay attention and chat with all of you guys. Build real relationships. Ugh. Plus, it makes the time go by a lot faster. It's been a while since I talked about playing drums, so it's nice to have someone asking questions. Come on. That side's in. There we go. Just had to persuade it. Okay, guys. Oh, I'm sweating, but that's 2 done. 2 units done. Many, many more to go. But all these shelves built, and that's going to help get all this stuff up off the ground. I got some kids' clothing and some scuba gear, some paddles and such. Oh, so we can start getting stuff up off the ground. I got a guitar case there. Oh, literally sweating. Oh, take a minute here. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we're just going to keep plucking away here. It is 4:05 p.m. So I'll probably have about another hour before dinner. So we got about another hour where we can stream. This is garbage. But we can start kind of putting some stuff up on the shelves to get them up off the ground. I should have a garbage bag here. I don't. But let's move some of this cardboard so we can get ourselves situated to get the next shelf out. I'll just tuck this stuff over here. I'll throw it in the back of my truck later. Oh boy. Okay. Gonna get some of this stuff up off the ground. Some of the stuff that I know can just be long-term storage here. I mean, this one here literally says storage fragile wall photos. It's gonna be photos of the kiddos, so we can get this up off the ground. I guess I'm kind of debating if I should. Should I? If I start throwing everything on these shelves I'm building right now, when I want to move these out of the way, it's going to be a pain in the butt. So maybe I just keep building shelves. That way I can pull everything out, put the shelves where I want them, and then go from there. That's what we'll do. We'll build the next shelf right now. I just got to move some of my tools out of the way so I have a little more room to work. Let's do that. Oh, this stuff can stack over here. It's tight, so it doesn't break. It's going to break if I leave it on the ground. What do I got there? A bow and arrow? Or just I should call it just a bow because there's no arrows here. It's a bit of a tangle. So anyway, What do I got going on here? That was broken, which is good because it allows me to get it off of here easier. There. One kite there, one kite here. This bow can go somewhere else. Oh, Glory, welcome back. It's nice not being banned. Yes, sorry, I was just playing with my bow there. Oh, Glory, sorry about that. I was even saying, I don't know if you could still see when I was trying to explain what happened, but I was saying, Old Glory's been a subscriber for a long time. I'm subscribed to his channel. We interact all the time. And so when that event happened, I was just thrown out of nowhere. I was like, the only explanation could have been a heavy dose of moonshine, which I understand. But with how that was going down, it didn't sound like you. It just wasn't you. But I didn't know any better. I'm young and ignorant. Now I know. Chuck says, what do you think about the dimensions of existence? That's a deep question, Chuck. What do I think about the dimensions of existence? So, as a Catholic, I believe in other dimensions already, heaven and hell. For me, it's not that far of a jump to believe in alternate realities or virtual reality. To me, it's kind of all one and the same. The moral of the story, try to live a good life, be a good person, and we'll catch you on the flip side. So, yeah, I don't disagree with the potential. Mandingo says he's got Coca-Colas for $90. Well, I hope you don't go and drink all of those Coca-Colas in one place. We're going to open up the next box. We're building shelvings today. We're just kind of chilling in the garage, trying to get it organized so that we can get, I mean, a lot of this is going to be garbage now, but so we can get all this up off the ground. My hockey bag doesn't need to sit on the ground. So we're just going to keep plugging away in here. I've got, oh boy, I got 4 more of these, so I got 6 in total. I'm hoping to do, what I'll probably end up doing is 2 rows of 3. So I'll get 1 more row set up here, then I'll build the next set in front of it. And yeah, the current shelving I have, I'm probably going to pull everything out of the garage and rearrange the whole thing. I'm going to take these shelves and this one I built over here, flip them 90 degrees as well. There's really no reason for them to be vertical like that. I was thinking vertical because, I don't know, I was trying to line it with where my garage doors open and stuff, but really it just breaks the space up too much. Any designer could have told me that. Anyone who knows anything, design, you know, would say, run it lengthwise with the room. It's going to make the room feel bigger. If you run the other way, it's going to make the room feel smaller. And it's true. So we're going to rearrange the whole garage once the shelves are all done and in position. But for now, that brings me to another thought. But before I get there, Unga says, man, you deserve more viewers the way you interact with everyone. Thank you, Unga. You know, one nice thing, there are times where we have a couple hundred people in here. I think today we're having it a little bit slower because I've been having some streaming issues where I've been losing signal. It's lightning storming out there. And so every once in a while I drop the signal. But the nice thing about it staying small right now is that we can have one-on-one interactions and I can keep up with the chat. When there's 100-200 people on here at once, it's really hard to keep up with the chat. So there are pros and cons. And Amen says, that's a big garage. Good luck. Thank you. It's going to feel, though, a lot more useful once I get all these shelves up and get everything off the floor. Sad story. What ended up happening is we had about a 2,200 square foot house with an attached big garage. Beautiful big house, had lots of things. But then we moved out of the city. I bought an off-grid cabin. This is here. Turned the cabin into a house, but it's way smaller. We went from like 2,400 square feet down to like, after I put on an addition, 1,200. And so I had a lot of stuff, not a lot of space to store it in the house, but a decent sized garage. But the garage had no storage in it, so it was kind of, when you move, everything just goes into the garage on the floor. Well, we had some mice come in here and they got into things like our wedding photo albums, some of our life jackets, my fishing gear, and so they ruined a bunch of stuff. So now there's kind of a priority to get everything off the ground. So that's why we're building these shelves, get everything off the ground. From Turkey, hello. Yar madam, how you doing, friend? Welcome. And Glitch says hello from Grand Rapids, Michigan. How you doing? Grand Rapids is a beautiful place. I'm up here in northern Canada, and so you guys are a close partner. Large Family Homestead has the verification. Large Family Homestead. I'm confused. I don't think I've ever seen a name that is highlighted with a check mark. How do you get that? And it says, what's up? We're just working in the garage today, trying to clean up stuff, get everything off the ground. Christian says, hi. And yes, we are from northern Canada. Oh, Glory says, have you considered getting a farm cat? I'm allergic to cats, and I've had some issues. Not so funny story. One of my friends got a farm cat and didn't get it spaded. It ended up having kittens. And because it was just living out in the field, they didn't round up all those kittens. Those kittens ended up having kittens. Next thing you know, they had like 100 stray cats on the farm. And the stray cats were eating all the mice. Awesome. But then they started trying to eat their baby bunnies, their rabbits, and all their chicks and ducks. And so it was a bit of a doozy. And so they ended up having to try to unalive all these cats. I have a bunch of snakes. They're wild, but there's tons of them, and they do an okay job. It's the winter, though. The snakes hibernate for the winter, and then the mice have free reign over the garage. And Large Family Homestead says, verified account with YouTube. So, your verified account with YouTube, I thought I was verified, but I don't have a check mark. Is it verified and monetized? And I haven't seen anyone else have that highlight under them. So I'm sure there's other people that have verified accounts, but good to know that. Large Family, tell me a little bit about your channel, because obviously you are a YouTuber. Tell me a little bit about the animals you have, being a homestead. What do you focus on? Do you focus on animals? Do you focus on gardening? Large Family, how large? I'm giving you some questions, give me some answers. And I would love to check your channel out later. Oh, Glory says, I'm allergic to cats too. That's why I don't have farm cats. Peppermint, mice and rats and skunks hate peppermint. So what you're saying is I need to start spreading peppermint in the garage. Put it all over the photo album next time. And Yarmadam says, I have it so much from Canada, my friends. So many friends in Canada. That's awesome. Rhodey says, what is your favorite DreamWorks movie? DreamWorks would be Pixar, right? Rhodey, or Roddy, name a few of the top Pixar movies and I'll tell you which one's my favorite of them. I believe Toy Story is Pixar, and it's a classic. It's fantastic. But give me some names and I'll see if I know them and have a favorite of them. Bebop says, and then they bought Jack Russell to keep the cats in control. My friends didn't use a Jack Russell. Instead, they used a shotgun. Johnny says, what's your favorite Ron Jeremy film? Is Ron Jeremy the adult movie star? Who's Ron Jeremy? Large Family says, it's different verified for channels with over 100,000 subscribers, popular in general. Large Family, thank you for humbling me with your presence. That is fantastic. And we're a family of 12 in East Texas, raising chickens, ducks, turkey, quail, cows, and gardening. Awesome. How many cows do you have? So out here, I'm off-grid, up here in northern Canada. I've got rabbits, chickens, ducks, pigs, and cows, and goats. Goats. I've got a bunch of goats. And I have 5 boys of myself, so I'm a family of 7. So I'm not as large as you. We're not there yet. But hopefully by the time I'm a family of 12, I can join you in the 100K class. And the liar is saying, bro, yapping when I'm trying to see, oh boy, one of Diddy's followers. And L. Jetson says, hi, hey, how you doing? John says, Ron Jeremy is the adult. Okay, I knew who it was. See, this is the problem. When I stop working and I start hanging out, all y'all trolls come into the chat. And Kian, if you're gonna say stuff like that, mix it up. If you're gonna be inappropriate, at least be creative. Don't just spam the chat with a bunch of stuff. I ain't ignoring you, but I want to ignore you when you say it 10 times. No, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. I'm a very wholesome guy. And Large Family Homestead says, we only have 20K subs, had a GMA feature, so that's how we got the check mark. Good morning, America. We have 5 cows currently. Nice. That's a perfect size. So I assume that with 5 cows, what are you doing? You're breeding them and you're keeping what? two a year for yourself, 3 a year, and then selling off the offspring, or trying to grow your herd? We have one right now. I had two, but my bull got really aggressive, so I ate him. My female cow right now is off at a neighbor's farm being bred, and then I'm getting 2 more heifers in the fall. So I'll be at 3. I would like to get up to 5 to 7. I have about, currently I've got 156 acres, but only about 30 acres of field. So I think 7 is kind of where I'm going to cap out on my 30-acre field. And then that should be enough to continue growing my herd and provide food for the family. And Kian asks, what do you think of Donald Trump? I didn't mind him. I still don't know if I mind him, but he's making some outrageous decisions, which make me a little nervous about the state of the world. But I'm up here in Northern Canada, so I don't have any real skin in the game, so I got no real thoughts on it. Roddy said, did I miss it, Roddy? Did you mention any films? I know you're asking if I've watched DreamWorks. And Ardman Flushed Away. I don't know what that is. And Old Glory is confirming who Ron Jeremy is. Yes, I got that one. Brody, give me some DreamWorks names and I'll mention if I've read them. Gary says, is this the Trump train? No, we're just up here in Northern Canada. So, you know, someone asks, I got to mention my response on it. But Large Family Homestead says, we are keeping 3 for breeding and milk, and the other 2 are meat. That's kind of the perfect ratio. Right now, I've got Black Angus cattle, and so I'm going to be getting a couple Shorthorns. So I'll have 2 Shorthorns. I got the Black Angus, and then we're breeding it with our neighbors, which is some sort of, I don't know, it's a polled breed. I know it's a meat breed. It's a prize meat breed, but I never remember the name. It's something like a white stipe, something like that. I don't know. It's a Switzerland breed of heifer. It's from Switzerland. And John says, dang, you're pimping out your heifer? Yes. Well, I was planning to breed her with my bull. I was going to get my bull to breed her, but my bull just turned into a bit of a jerk, and he started, it's a long story, but what happened was I have a bad back, old injury, and it flared up, and my disc bulged, and so I was hobbling around for about 6 weeks. During that time, anytime I'd go to the barn to try to do some chores, he normally would try to play with me, but because I couldn't play back, I couldn't kind of push him out of the way or step out of the way, he would just start hitting me, and he would start headbutting, and he would start trying to lift me and throw me. Normally, it was kind of whatever. I could get out of the way. But once he realized he could do it and I couldn't get out of the way, it just started getting worse and worse, and it all boiled down to a point where a few months back, my wife was 8 months pregnant. It was the middle of the night. I was helping one of my goats give birth, and so my goat was having her baby, and that all happened. It was like 1 in the morning. Delivered the goat baby, made sure everything was good, and then I came out of the barn, and my cow was at the end of the field, and he saw me, and he ran me down, and he hit me like a truck. The thing had to be going like 25 kilometers an hour. Hit me, threw me about 5 feet. I landed on my back, and he turned around, and he started running me again, but I managed to get out of the way, and I got back to the house. Later that night, I locked him in the barn. The next day, I butchered him. It was just, once he realized it was fun to hit me, it was game over. And while I was lying on my back, I couldn't help but think, if he would have hit my wife like that, we would have lost our baby. And that was not okay. So I ate him. We'll probably try a bull again once we have a few of our own heifers. But for now, the easier option is to pimp her out. Daisy is saying hi. Hi, Daisy. And Large Family Homestead says, we have 4 Jersey crosses and a Dexter. Nice. I'm looking at maybe getting a Dexter Angus as my bull. So I've got some word out to some farmers that if they're finishing their process right now, I got to follow up with them. But I'm hoping that they had a baby Black Angus Dexter mix, and that will probably be our bull if I decide to get another bull. And John says, I remember he was getting too aggressive. He was. Large Homestead says, you should try a Dexter bull. We have one, and he can be aggressive at times, but it's much easier to handle. Yeah, and my problem is I didn't have him in any panels. I had him in kind of the main area outside of my barn that I had the goats in, and so I didn't have them separated out. I didn't have them penned. You know, it was really, the problem was with my back being sore, I let him take advantage. What I should have done was smack him in the head with a shovel or something to teach him, don't hit me. But instead I was just feeling a little too weak and sore with my back, and I just kind of let him. So it was my fault that he got aggressive, but once they get aggressive, there's kind of no going back on that. How's the back been lately? Manageable. I'm stiff, hard to bend over, but like I'm in quite a bit of pain, not gonna lie, but manageable. It's enough that I can ignore it for the most part. It's never going to heal. It's I've talked to my doctor about it. He recommends either heavy duty painkillers like daily or surgery. And my thoughts are, I don't know anyone who's had a successful single back surgery. People have multiple back surgeries. I don't want to start getting into that route until it's like unbearable to walk. So right now I just focus on fitness, staying in shape, and trying to manage the back that way. As long as I'm not carrying extra weight, hopefully it's not too bad. I'm trying to be a little less hands-on, using more of my machines to do labor. You know, you tend to just put your body through some heck when you're constantly building fencing and stuff, but I'm trying to use machines more than my back. I was going to buy myself a sawmill because I have a ton of acreage here, tons of forest, and I spend a fortune. One of my biggest expenses out here is probably food and then lumber. So I was going to build a sawmill so I could save the lumber cost, but my wife made a good point. My back is just too bad. If I'm trying to drag logs out of the bush and then roll them onto this sawmill by hand, I'm just going to hurt myself. I'm not going to end up using the sawmill, and it's not going to be a useful machine. So right now I'm bidding all the auctions. I'm trying to buy a tracked skid steer. And so once I buy a tracked skid steer, I can get a clam bucket on it. Then maybe I'll talk about doing a sawmill. What's the temp like there? Right now it is only about 64 degrees Fahrenheit. She's cold out there today. She's chilly. I'd put it about 15 degrees Celsius, somewhere in there. And John says, fitness, when can we get a workout stream? Maybe one day when I have my own private gym, but I do not want to be that guy. I mean, where I live in the middle of nowhere. So my gym never has more than like one other person on it. Yeah, I do not want to be that guy trying to live stream while I'm at the public gym. I don't have the self-confidence to that. It just seems embarrassing. DeBoy, welcome back, DeBoy. How you doing? We're just, well, right now we're just chatting, but we're putting together some shelving units. So we got some shelves going up over here. I've got 4 more to build, although I'm not going to get around to it today. I'm sure in about a half hour my wife's going to be calling me in for supper. It's Doe, gives the hi. How you doing, Doe? Let's get this shelf a little more out of the way so we can open up the top. And let's get started on this shelf while we're chatting, guys. I got these heavy-duty metal shelving units. They're just a good old Canadian Tire special, nothing too fancy, but they look dang good, and they're sturdy. And yeah, what's for dinner? Yesterday was some short ribs from my cow. I have no idea what we're making today. I've been out in the garage here for the last hour and a half, and I haven't talked to my wife about the supper plans, but if I had to guess, we'll probably be eating steak today. It's either going to be steak, rabbits, or ducks, because we have a homestead. So it's going to be one of those. And Large Family Homestead says, nice. It's been in the 90s here. Yesterday was a smoke show until the wind picked up. It was super hot, probably in the 90s. And then the wind picked up. And it actually busted my dock. I've got a stationary dock out there. When my wife took the kids to the beach, I've got a beach on the south end of the property. When she came back, she was having a hard time getting it to dock, so I had to go out there and help her, but she kind of hit the dock too hard and busted a part of it. So I've got it held to shore with some ratchet straps, but I'm going to have to send her out on the lake at some point so she can just cruise around with the kids, maybe go spend the day at the beach, and then I'll have to get my welder down there, and I'm going to have to straighten it out, reinforce it, and tack weld it. So, yeah, there is always something to do on a homestead. Never short of projects. John says, yeah, it's the low 90s here in Texas and also 90s in Georgia. It is hot everywhere. except up here in northern Canada. It's cold today. So the easiest way to do this is just to take all these parts and put them on the shelves that I've already built, get everything laid out, and then get started. So that one can go there. We'll put all these poles here. I can tell it must be warming up a bit out there though, because it is getting hot in the garage. I'm starting to sweat. Except the problem is, it was so hot out today. I didn't put a t-shirt on underneath the sweater, or it's so cold, I should say. But now that I'm in the garage, I'm getting sweaty. It's Joe says, I'm moving up there, by golly. It is nice up here. It is lovely. And John says, 90s is barbecue weather. It's not hot yet. We were barbecuing yesterday. Yesterday we barbecued short ribs from our bull cow. Get all this packing material out of my way. Okay. That one's coming with. Got to step away. If I dropped out for a second there, my mother was trying to FaceTime me. But we're a little busy. I can call her later. And Large Family Homestead says, yeah, that's what I was about to say, John. 90s is nothing here in Texas. Yes, 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And Du Bois says, I had some friends move down here from PA. They love the weather down here, and I hate it. Can anyone do the conversion? What's 90s in Celsius? Is that like 35? Is 90 around 35 Celsius? Help a Canadian out. If someone can do that conversion for me so I have a little more relative. It does get up to 40 degrees Celsius here. Not usually hotter than that. Where things get wild up here is the winter. Our winters get down to minus 50, negative 50. Our winters get disgusting. And so Du Bois says it's 32 in Celsius. Okay, we were close to that then. We were probably like 28 Celsius yesterday. So we were probably at like 80, 87. You guys are so helpful. Thank you guys. So yeah, it does get up in Canada. So the thing is up here, because we are on the northern hemisphere, far north, in the summers, you know, people think Canada is always cold, but because of the way the earth is angled towards the sun, our days get super long. Like it's sunny till almost 11 p.m. here. And because it's warm so long, that sun has time to really heat everything up. So it'll get into the 40s Celsius. So it'll get into the low hundreds, I guess, up here for a short period of time in the summer here. Usually August, usually July. Because our days are just so long, it doesn't have time to cool down. But then our winters, because the opposite, it's so dark here for so long, our winters get atrocious. When you live off-grid in the middle of nowhere like this, and you get these really cold winters, you end up with a lot of issues with water lines freezing. Yeah, so 104 Fahrenheit's about the top end of what we get up here in northern Canada. But the winters get down to minus 40, minus 50. And it gets so cold that I've got some videos where I was live streaming in January, and it was about minus 45. The phone would turn off after about 10-15 minutes because it was just too cold. My face would just freeze solid. You just see a beard full of ice. I put that one in upside down. I was not paying attention. But yeah, you know what I did? This is going to become a top piece. It's not upside down anymore if I flip it up and put it on the top. We're going to set that one aside. And we're going to restart that and do it right this time. I'll bring you guys down lower to the ground with me. But yes. Looks like you have good knees. My knees are better than my back, that's for sure. And GZ says, technically, you're not off-grid. You on the internet. So, welcome to Starlink. I'm off-grid, and what off-grid means is I've got a well, I've got septic, and my house and everything is powered by a battery bank and all these solar energizer and power converters. So my house is actually kind of powered off of 24 volts of electricity. That is why we are off-grid. That doesn't mean that I don't have cell service. There is one tower across the lake. When I'm driving to and from town, I got no cell service. At my house, I have cell service. That's one of the reasons I bought this place. I run a business, and you simply can't run a business without connection to the outside world. And so this place happened to have internet. And then I have Starlink, thanks to Elon Musk. And so I can still be off-grid, but connected to the world. It's off-grid means you're not connected to the grid. I'm not relying on outside sources for electricity. It doesn't mean I'm in the wilderness survival middle of nowhere with nothing. You can still have some amenities while being off-grid. Bear with me, I'll catch up with the rest of the chat once I get this one in. I feel like I didn't get that side in good. Is it easier if I lie it down? I haven't tried that yet. No, definitely not. Okay. Set that one aside so I can read what you guys are saying. Stand up, get off the ground. Okay. Bear with me, guys. And Large Family says, oh, great. So y'all just get both extremes. Yes, we get like 6 months of snow. It's pretty awful. And my friend in South Dakota says it was 103 there the other day. It's Doe says, I just got home from camp and it was rough. I spent a lot of time in the creek. We call it a creek up here, or lake. Ernie says, 4-hour nights in the summer and 6-hour days in the winter. Yep, basically, yep. And Chuck retracted their message. Du Bois says, I felt minus 33 Celsius in Chicago with the wind chill during a blizzard, but that's the coldest I've been. I always say anything colder than minus 25 all sucks. At about minus 25, the moisture starts sticking to your beard and you just turn into a Yeti. And John says, I'd say you're off grid. And Du Bois says, sounds like the good life. Pablo says, hola. Hello from Chile. And Du Bois is saying, hola, hola. When I read hola or hola out of context, I always think it's holla, like holla, your boy's back. Anyway, Large Family Homestead says, sounds like you are, by definition, off grid. And Lyric says, is it hairy? And Large Family Homestead says, I just subscribed. When do you normally go live so I can join y'all again? Well, thank you, Large. I appreciate that. And Large Family Homestead, can I give you one little challenge? When you are done with this live stream, if you can come onto my channel and just comment on any one of my videos, it's going to make it a lot easier for me to find you. And then I can come subscribe to you and check out your channel. And we can maintain a bit of a relationship that way. So just whenever you're done, if you can just comment on any one of my videos, just say anything. And that way I can find you easily. And when do I normally stream? So I normally stream in the evenings. So normally I'd be streaming in about 3 hours from now. So I try to stream 3 to 4 times a week, usually the evenings after my kids go to sleep. And then sometimes, like right now, during the days on weekends. I do have 5 wonderful children that I love spending my days with. Just right now, we spent the morning all together and I had some work to do in here and it was thunderstorming and I didn't want to just sit in the house. So that's why I'm out here. But I, typically not streaming till the evenings. And thank you. I look forward to checking you out. The other day I had someone from the Philippines come on here and they had, I think it's 40,000 subscribers. And so we were chatting for a while and yeah, subscribe to them as well so I can check out what they're getting up to. They do more just lifestyle content, hanging out with the chat. Ben Outdoors is saying hello. Hey, Ben, how you doing? Hope you're having a good Sunday. Guys, also, I encourage you to go check out Ben's channel. Ben is another outdoors fisherman, young guy with a lot of great content and a lot of good energy. I think he's sitting around, what, 2,100 subscribers right now? Somewhere in that ballpark. We're just putting some shelves together. Having a kind of chill live stream here. I figure while I'm in here working in the garage, I might as well hang out with you guys. I'm less efficient, but the time goes by a lot faster. And I apologize, that's gotta be loud and annoying for you guys too. But thankfully that's just a short little moment. And yeah, John, am I missing something inappropriate there? I'm ignoring that comment mostly because I didn't understand the context. I'm running out of space is what I'm doing. I gotta reposition here. And Ben says, I just hit 2,200. Definitely got a lot from you. Thanks for the shout out. Good. It's always nice when we can support each other out here. I mean, especially, you know, us smaller YouTubers, we're all kind of doing our thing, trying to figure out how to make this happen. Ben, are you monetized yet? I haven't paid attention during your live streams. Are you monetized yet? And John says, congratulations, Ben. Oh. You know one thing? I don't do this for the money, so it's not a big part of it. You know, I'm, what, 250 videos in, several live streams, and I've made a total of 50 bucks on YouTube. So we're not doing this for the money. We're doing it for the interactions and the fun and to pass the time. And, you know, it just feels a lot better than sitting there watching YouTube, Netflix. Keep watching YouTube, don't stop. But sitting there watching Netflix and stuff, I'd rather be interacting with you guys. And so, yeah, it's definitely not for the money. But there is a part of me that when I'm seeing like every once in a while, a video will just pick up out of nowhere and you'll get 100 views in an hour. And on one hand, because I'm close to monetization, I'm not there yet. It almost kills me to see that and be like, that could have been a couple bucks. That could have been a coffee. So there's kind of a bit of a push and a bit of a goal to get there, because when you're already close, it's almost more painful to not quite be there yet. Even though it's not the goal, it would still be fun. And Ben says, I'm not monetized yet. I only have around 1,300 watch hours this year. Hopefully I'll be monetized next year. Ben, keep up the live streams. They definitely help. And they'll get you there. I've gotten over 1,000 hours in the last month just from live streaming. And John says, I seen your short about the chicken coop. Yes, it's a work in progress. I wish I was finishing it today, but it's on and off thunderstorming out there. And so I can't get my tools all soaked and wet. And I just got to kind of leave it for the evenings this week. The chickens have a house right now, so it's not a big deal. And I let them free range in the yard. But I want to move them from my fenced in yard out into my main lawn. And so before I can do that, I got to get them in the mobile coop. Also, my cow is being bred at another farm's house right now. And so when my cow comes back, she's never seen chickens. So I don't know how she'll react to them free ranging. She was good with the ducks. She never attacked a duck or stepped on a duck, but you know, you just got to worry about it. And Large Family says, I was just looking at your channel, Ben. I feel like I've seen you before. Oh, also Ben, there was some guy doing a fishing live stream yesterday, and I noticed he had your message. Was it $10 to get your name on a hat? Donate $10 to get your name on a hat, and it looks like your message was pinned. Was that you? That's what it looked like to me, but I'm still ignorant to the way the world works. It looked like he had your message pinned on his video, which was awesome. And Ben says, that's awesome, Large Family Homestead. I'll subscribe to your channel, though. And oh, wow, Large Family Homestead has, I think, 2 shorts that have over 1 million views. That's awesome. I am going to be checking out and binge watching your channel afterwards, Large Family. And thanks. I'll watch some of your videos, Ben, and help you with those. Also, Large Family, I feel like at this point I should introduce my personal name, and same with you, John. I am Justin. My name is Justin. And we call the property White Pines Homestead. The YouTube channel is My Wildlife. And Ben says, yes, that was Hunter Waterman's live stream. I make thumbnails for him. Okay, that's awesome. That makes sense. I see that he is monetized because I could see the ability to donate there. And of course, he was advertising, donate for money. It's awesome how the community can support each other. You know, I feel like some industries could be very competitive. Like you don't want to see other people succeed because if they're succeeding and maybe you're not, there could be some jealousy or you could be kind of, you know, feel like those could be my views. But when you get people who are genuine and good people and are supporting each other, that's awesome. That is something that I used to do. So before I actually got my feet wet with making my own YouTube content, what I did is I did the audio for another YouTube channel. So I got paid to do all the audio. They would do the script writing and the graphics, and I would just do the audio recordings. I made a lot of money doing that. I've made like $0 doing it myself. That's just the way it goes. But yes, and I think those mobile, my calling me, so I'm guessing that means supper time, dinner time. So I'll see if she texts me and see what she says. She knows what we're doing because my wife's trying to leave me a voicemail. We'll see what she says. She's gonna text me, and then it's probably dinner time. And the mobile coop is going to be awesome once it's done. The thing weighs a ton, so I'm putting wheels on it right now. But I'm putting the wheels on a mechanism. So a board runs across, the wheel goes on, and that way when I lift the board, it lifts the back end of the coop, and I lock it in place. Just because you don't want to have the chickens sneaking under. So you can't have, or snakes and stuff getting in. So you can't have it always raised. My wife is saying it's supper time. So large family says, hi Justin, I'm Brooke. Actually the oldest child in our family, but I pretty much run the channel. That's awesome, Brooke. And John says, uh-oh, time to go. You know what, guys? I'll probably be back on later, but we're gonna end the stream for now. I'll probably be back on around 7:30 after the kids go to bed. But for now, I'm gonna end the stream, go inside, have supper, and spend dinner with the children. So I will catch you guys later. I appreciate our conversations. Large family, don't forget, Brooke, please comment on one of my other videos. It's gonna make it so much easier to find you. And so have a good night. Take care, guys. And I look forward to talking again later. Have a good one, Ben.